Hi everyone, it's Debbie. So, I guess I stirred some question about 15 degree Scorpio yesterday in my asking why people don't celebrate Samhain at that time anymore. So, the reason I do, when I was learning the craft here in the Northeast back in the 1980-ish, I'm dating myself. Many of the witches that I celebrated with celebrated at 15 degree Scorpio. So we were taught that the Celts, back in the day, they separated the year into two halves, the light half and the dark half. And the warmth, plentiful food, all the animals having babies was the light half of the year, and that started at Beltane. And the dark half of the year was Samhain, and that started um, at that time in the sky. If you notice, if you go outside at night, the Pleiades, I have trouble saying that word, the stars of the Small Dipper are at their height at midnight. And we think that that was a signifier to them as the midway point between autumn equinox and winter solstice. So they believed that communication with their ancestors was easier during that time. As we travel through the dark half of the year, the god is getting ready to die, and the Oak King is getting ready to die at Yule, and there's lots of death and dying in the cold weather. The illnesses were more prevalent then due to malnutrition and stuff like that. And so they thought that the veil between our world and the Summerland was the thinnest at that point where the Pleiades is highest in the sky at midnight, and it will go down at sunrise. So then later, that kind of marks 15 degree Scorpio. So modern witches use that versus the Pleiades to mark Samhain. And then, as I've grown through the years, this was 30 years ago, or 20 something years ago, since I've been practicing, and now it's kind of fallen back to the Christian All Saints, All Souls Day, and it kind of gets lumped all into one thing. I like to keep, and this is just for me, this is just how I learned. I'm not saying that celebrating Halloween is wrong, or Samhain on October 31st is wrong. I don't know what's up with my hair today. I'm just saying that for me, I like to keep Halloween as Halloween. Do the party thing, and all the ghosty decorating and things like that, and the kids' parties and trick-or-treating and all that fun stuff. And then Samhain to me, which is a few days later, this year it's a week later, and that's more of a reverent thing to me. Not that we don't celebrate, we do. It's just a little more reverent than the drinking parties and all that stuff. so um, so that is why I celebrate at 15 degrees Scorpio, because that's how I learned. And a lot of the Celtic mythos is conjecture, just because it was mainly an oral tradition. So, a lot of it's guesswork, as far as I know. The lunar calendar, the oldest lunar calendar that I know of that we have on record for Celts, is around the 1st century Common Era. So, it's a lot older than that. And we just don't have anything that dates back any further that I know of. So, yeah. So anyway, that's how I do it, and that's why. And I was just wondering why that practice fell out of style. Yeah, I kind of feel like an oddity, but the coven that I run with is doing their Samhain on Saturday, so I won't be totally alone. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope this answered some questions. It's the astrological Samhain. So, yeah, do some research. It's quite interesting, actually, how they came up with it. So, thank you. Blessed be.